Next up, we have Himanshu Samadhiya. Is going to tell us about the PyCell roadmap.
Okay. So in terms of PyCell Studio roadmap, the theme of all the updates that we are doing in PyCell Studio is categorized in three sections: performance, usability, and customer requests. So in last year, December, we released a major version of PyCell Studio, which is N 2017.12. And there were a lot of performance improvements done, API enrichments, and support for custom handles. And we also addressed a couple of customer requests during that release. Now, in this year, during September timeframe, we are coming with another major upgrade, which is O 2018-09 release. The open access version remains same between both release, which is 22.50.64. But the enhancements will be done more on the performance side and productivity improvements. Along with that, we are enhancing our debugger to add more debug capabilities so that when people are creating their PyCells, it will be easier for them to come to a debug point quickly. So that way it helps in reducing the timeline for PyCell development or debugging. And along with that, we are getting more and more customer requests for further enhancements for advanced technology nodes like 16 nanometer, 10 nanometer, 7 nanometer, things like that. So PyCell Studio is getting enhanced for those things. So the work is actively going on this tool. So following the few performance improvements that we have done recently. So there is a function to get properties from library level and cell level DM containers. And we have improved this function. So previously, whatever PyCells were developed using this function, now they'll work 15% faster. So there is inherent caching plus other algorithm improvements that are done to improve the speed here. Apart from this, there is another improvement that is done on the connectivity side where you define a lot of terminals, pins, and nets inside the PyCell. And for such scenarios, the terminal creation has been improved by 3.4x in terms of speed up. And if you have a bigger MOSFET, say with 1,000 number of fingers, so that will render fast. If you have bigger layouts which has somewhere around hundreds of thousands or maybe a million shapes where you have to define connectivity, something like power mesh or something like that, that will be much, much faster now. So these are done in the core functionality that we had existingly in the PyCell Studio. There are new APIs that are added for region query, which is get shape. So now you can use this API to get any shape on a layer. And you can also define if you want shapes only within a bounding box. And you can tell start level and stop level if you have a hierarchical piece, so it can give you the shapes for those kind of things. So initially, PyCell Studio, you have to query each and every individual instance that's placed in a hierarchical pieces to do something like this. But now with one query, you can get all the information. So this is 80x faster than the traditional logic that people used to use before. Okay, in terms of productivity improvement, so these people are doing more and more fancy things in PyCell. So they are creating standard vias, custom vias inside PyCell, and they want to query what was my via definition defined in the text file. Based on that, they get certain information from the constraints, and to do some sophisticated stuff. So we have added more APIs in PyCell Studio to get such information. So you can get via definitions from text file, you can get valid layers from the text file, and you can walk through different via definition attributes. Apart from that, we have also enhanced the relative object alignment in PyCell Studio. So now when you align two objects, you can lock their positions. So now once these two objects are aligned and they are relatively locked in their position, if you align this object to next one, both previously aligned objects will move together. So that way it makes things easier if people do not want to calculate the exact coordinates. So they can just use align or move commands along with that. We also supported stretch handle for the hierarchical pieces. So this was not supported before. Initially, you can only create stretch handles on one level of hierarchy. That is the top level. But now you can create stretch handles for the shapes which are present down the hierarchy in a hierarchical pieces. So custom handle support. As I mentioned, in PyCell, we have 9 standard locations for any rectangle. And now with this function, you can also define a custom location on any object. And based on that custom location, you can do align and move operations. So you are not limited to those 9 locations like center or left center, right center, things like that. You can have your own custom handles assigned to any polygon or shape. And based on that, the alignment can be done. Okay, so PyCell Studio, one good thing which I really like is it comes with a debugger. So there is IDE for the development and debugging. And it has the capability of, like, you can write your Python code in there. So there's a text editor which has search and replace with all regular expressions built in. You can define breakpoints and you can compile your code within this debug environment and use breakpoint to step through each line. Another thing is you have runtime display of variables. So you know at any point of execution, what are my local variable values or what are my global variable values. Plus it comes with a Python console. So if you want to stop at any place inside your code execution and write your own code to debug something, you can do that. So this is how IDE looks. On the right upper side, you have text editor, where I have created one breakpoint. You can see a red dot on line number 71. So when I execute the code, it will come and stop here. And at that point of time, I can use Python console to write my own code at the bottom to do some experimentation. There is a variable window which shows me local and global variables, what are the values at that time. And it comes with its own light Pyros layout viewer, which will show all the rendered geometries till the time of execution. So it makes things a lot more easier and visually you get a feedback how my PCell is going to look till this point. Apart from this, there is a stack window. So that's where it tells, okay, if you are down in some function and you want to navigate up the stack, so you can do those kind of things here. So we are enhancing this debugger for more capabilities. So far, there is support for, like, if you are rendering a flat PyCell and it's say 10,000 line of code, you don't know which code was used to create certain shapes in your PyCell. So what you can do, you can go in the layout viewer, select a shape, and that will show you in the text editor which line was used to create the shape. So right now you can do it only for single hierarchy. Now we are enhancing this IDE to support hierarchical PyCells. So if you have a hierarchical PyCell, you can select a shape down the hierarchy, and in the text editor, the file will open and it will go to directly that line number which generated that shape. So it helps in debugging code which has like thousands of lines and you don't know, or you are not the original developer of code, that which line was used to create this geometry. Other are small enhancements. Those are like refresh files. If you are using IDE and plus you have opened another editor where you modified something and saved it, so it will immediately enhance in the IDE that file. Line wrapping support. Remember the last open directory when you're browsing any file in that. Now auto zooming layout. So this is something like you are rendering a big PCell, say inductor, and you are only bothered about one left-hand corner of that PCell. So you can zoom in there, and when you are executing the code, so your entire PCell won't be fitting in the layout window. It will only update the shapes in that particular region which you have selected, so that you can see when you go line by line how shapes are generated only in that particular section of the PCell. So that is really good for bigger layouts. Now the other thing is auto completion of variables and commands. So whenever you are typing something inside text editor, if there is already a variable defined, so there will be a drop down which will come whether you want to complete this variable name, or if there is an existing command or a custom function in PyCell Studio or the Python code that you're using, it will give you option to use those functions. Now other thing is go to definition. So say you are using a function here in your present file, you can select that function and it will directly take you where that function was defined in what file. So that way it speeds up lookups and debugging. So last thing is PyCell Studio doesn't need any license. It is free. You can download it. If you have a Synopsys Solnet account, you can download it from there. If you don't have that account, you can go directly to synopsys.com. There is a link down below, and you can download PyCell Studio from there. So any questions?
This is Martin from Lucida Photonics again.
Yes.
I have a question about the Python version that you are using. I understand this is Python 2.6 at the moment.
Yes, it is Python 2.6.2 version.
Yeah, so my question is, since Python 2.6 is for a while, but at least by the community, not supported anymore, are there plans to move towards a newer Python version?
There is no plan as of now because for our creation of PyCell's current version is fully capable of handling all the things. Unless in future we see that there is a critical requirement to upgrade the Python version, so that time we can decide, but at this point there is no limitation.